Welcome to the first 5-Minute Monday Lesson Review, where every Monday we'll be taking a look back at one of the lessons delivered by myself at Pine Ridge Golf Academy and discuss the changes made by the player within the session. So, this player arrived for his session last week and was sort of suggesting that he'd been experiencing some inconsistencies with ball flight, shot shape, ball striking, just general inconsistencies in the outcome, and had been working at certain aspects of his movement, rotation, swing plane, club face, etc. But when we reviewed the swing itself, we related a lot of the movement back to the setup, as is often the case with a lot of players. And even though when we're looking at movement, yes, it's a case study of one, it always seems that the setup position in some way, shape or form, it has an influence over the movement, and therefore is really important that we get it right for every player. So when we look at this player, you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen quite a narrow stance, the feet sort of pointing sort of square on towards the camera. And that, yes, is going to promote rotation, but actually at times it can create a scenario where the player over-rotates, and this is a good example of it. I'm just going to draw a line across the top of the head and then another one just through the centre. And you'll notice here, as this player starts to rotate in the backswing, the head, the torso, pelvis starting to rotate. But notice here how the head now starts to elevate. It starts to move up. And as we get to the top of this backswing here, round about there, the player's actually started to move back towards the target. The head has elevated. And what this is doing is it's putting, could be argued, a fair bit of stress down through sort of the lower back. So when we get to this position here, a changing position of the head, a lot of stress through the back. Another thing to identify, if I just go back to the start here and we just have a little look at the right foot, you'll notice here how sort of the weight sort of goes on the outside of the foot and back into the heel, the big toe sort of coming off the ground. Again, a lot of stress through the ankle there. And so it could be argued that on the way down, this player's got a lot of organisation of a lot of different positions. And at speed, that's going to be a really difficult thing to do with any degree of consistency. In contrast, the changes that we made or discussed within the session, a wider stance, definitely giving us more stability through the lower half of the body. Now that in turn is going to help stabilise and maybe restrict to a degree the degree of rotation through the lower half of the body, which in this player's case is a positive. If we just look at the left foot, we can also see here how we've turned the left foot outwards, externally rotated towards target, and that sort of has a twofold benefit. It will help stabilise and again restrict the sort of degree of rotation through the pelvis in the backswing, but will also help facilitate more rotation and more drive and more power in the through swing. So when we look at this movement here, I'm just going to draw two lines on the screen. Yes, there's a little bit of lateral movement, often referred to as sway, and that's something in the next session that we're going to have a little look at. But just notice here as we start the backswing now with this player, let's get it to the top of the backswing, no lift, but just a much more athletic position, definitely a safer position for the body. And if I just remove all the lines, when we just take a little bit of a look at those two, very, very, very different, much more powerful, much more athletic, and definitely much more easier to repeat. So I hope you found this lesson review interesting, and if you would like to have your own lesson review, then please feel free to take advantage of our free assessment session, where the link to book can be found in the email. But until next Monday, we look forward to seeing you then for the next 5-Minute Monday lesson review.